Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome back to Can You Survive the Tides of War? I am here at the Tribal Council area, and it is looking beautiful at this sunset hour. Torches are lit. Got some extra torches back there, and our players are fast approaching. All right, gonna go ahead and turn this around so we can watch the players filing into Tribal Council. And here they come. We have Drew, Kevin R, Dylan, Meg M, Ty, Cam, Alicia, and Ale.
Okay, let's bring in our jury. We have Katie, Dan, Zoe, Louie, and Molly both voted out at our last tribal council. All right, let's dive into it. Cam, I think I'm going to start with you.
Good.
Okay. Very, very intense performance at the tribal council. Stuck it out for a really long time. Clearly felt like you needed it and pushed yourself to your limit. Do you feel like the conversations you had after the challenge kind of verified, kind of the worry that you had maybe in your mind pushing you in that challenge?
I think it was a combination of like being worried, but also just really, really wanting it so bad. I wanted to get to wear the necklace. I wanted to see how long I could physically do that. And I was like, I'm not going to get off this until I am like, my body is falling apart. Do I regret that from an optics perspective a little bit, but also like, I'm so proud of myself that I was like, I don't want to be first off. Then I was like, I want to do 20. Then I was like, we hit 20 minutes. I was like, let's just see what we can do. Now I can't walk normal. Yeah, I don't know. I was just being stubborn, I guess. It was more a personal thing than anything else.
Okay, interesting. Let's see, Meg. The last tribal council, both you and Cam expressed a lot of doubt in your situation. Do you feel like the results of the last tribals changed how you are feeling at this one, or are you still very much in a dangerous position?
Dangerous position. I mean, not in terms of maybe the vote tonight, I don't think, but in terms of just like where I stand with everybody else. It should have, I feel basically on the bottom. Yeah.
Okay.
Bottom-ish.
And how do you fight back? Are you gonna kind of go along, or it seems like you're not potentially worried about going out tonight, but going out, next tribal or the tribal after? I mean, how do you begin to kind of claw back when you know that?
Right now, I'm not clawing. I am going with the flow and being a good, number for the people who have more control than I do.
Okay. Interesting. There's been a lot of talk of extra numbers. Alicia, you floated yourself out as an extra number. Do you think you'll be taken up on that offer at this tribal council?
I really, really hope so. I know that everyone is talking about voting out me today. And I had like a bit of an emotional moment after the challenge because I knew I really, really needed that one, and I really believed I could do it. And my back just came off the board. It's the most uncomfortable position to be in, and I was out. And so I just definitely did not roll over and die. I pitched everything I could think of, and I hope something sticks.
Yeah, what are the, give us the highlights. What is that pitch? Give me the elevator pitch.
Okay, I am one person that is threatening. There are certain groups that accumulate more than one person that are threatening together, and ultimately that's a lot of numbers that are more threatening than just one. I've proven that I'm not invincible in challenges. I've lost plenty of them since I've been back. And so my argument is just, use me while I'm here and get me out when I lose. But one is better than a minimum of 3 against you.
Interesting, yeah. Minimum of 3. Well, we have 8 here. So I don't know how that math is working out, but
It maths.
it maths. Okay. Kevin, speak to that kind of concept though, in terms of this is a really interesting point of the game where you have to start thinking about your path to the end, right? And making sure there really always needs to be a bigger threat than you in the game. Alicia, has made herself into what seems to be a large threat. Argument could be that it's worthwhile to leave some of those in the game. Well, speak on that a little bit. How are you balancing that?
Yeah, no, I think that was Alicia's pitch, was that she's a threat, sure, but she's also a number, and that this isn't the last time to get her out. So I think that was her main pitch. Whether it holds water or not, that's what the other conversations were about.
Okay. And as the bearer of the necklace, congratulations on lasting as long as you did. Yeah, worthy of a round of applause. Do you feel like you put your finger on the pulse this time and really tried to push in a certain direction? Or I feel like a lot of folks with that necklace have said that they actually more took a step back during that round?
I feel like it's been similar. I think it's just operating without the stress is really nice, but I'm still stressed in other ways. So, like you said, people are thinking ahead, whether I'm just thinking to the next vote or thinking even further than that. It's nice to have one moment to pause and recollect. I didn't feel like I was approaching it differently. We still did our fun little speed dating roulette that we always love to do, and operated pretty similarly in all the conversations we had.
Okay. Dylan, at the last tribal, you kind of mentioned that the game really jumped up in speed for you. Shifting from the final 11 vote to that 2-split 5-5 tribal council, and now right back into this final 8 tribal. Yeah. Do you feel like the game has kept up that speed, or do you feel like you were able to kind of catch up to it?
Maybe both. I feel like the game is still keeping up at a pretty breakneck pace. Because now the numbers are closer to what we were in the last tribal of the 5-5. You know what I mean? Right? The math makes sense. And so yeah, a little bit. And so I think the game is picking up speed. Was that the end of the question you asked me?
How are you dealing with the speed? It seemed like it really was affecting you.
I think I found a way to keep pace for me. That is nice. I feel like I was sort of anticipating at some point getting an emotional moment, and I didn't expect it to come when it came last tribal. And now that I'm sort of on the other side of it, I feel like I have a lot more clarity about me as a person. This is all like new, so it's like every day it's like piloting a ship in the dark, and I'm just like and then like I hit an iceberg yesterday, and then we patched the hole and we're moving on.
Okay, well said. I like that. Survivor is a lot about learning about yourself. Ale, at last tribal council, very visibly got up, picked something up, opened it, and potentially saved yourself. During tribal, you were speaking that you were one of 2 options. In terms of making that move, how is the fallout from that? Oftentimes, you make a big move like that, drawing a lot more attention to yourself, and you were already someone who was on the chopping block potentially last time.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to believe that the vote was going to be the same with or without the idol. Is that true? I don't know, right? I grabbed it before the votes could be done, so they could have changed it last minute and be like, oh shit, like let's not risk it, right? Or it could have always been the case, right? So I don't know, like no one has said anything to me about it. Like everyone was just like, oh, we get it. Like it's like it's what you kind of have to do. Like Alicia and I talked about how like leaving with an idol is super rough. So like just using it is so important. I'm sure it puts a bigger target on my back. I know like Alicia today, like she was pitching and talking about like the threes and stuff like that, and like I'm part of one of those. So like it adds to that. But yeah, I think it's just about trusting the people that you trust and trusting those relationships and those connections. And yeah, like I mean, if it makes me a bigger target, shit, I'm really happy I did it. So there it is.
Okay, fair enough. True. Yeah, at the last tribal council, there was some talk about the threes or heading into this 8 as a 4-4 split potentially based on kind of what Molly was suggesting in one of her answers. Is that seeming to be the case here, where this really is kind of bubbling to two sides going at each other here?
No, I think quite the opposite. I mean, there's so many relationships and so much history between all of us that I feel like it's honestly been pretty fluid. There's moments where certain people are maybe not in power and other people are, but there's always the opportunity to regain it. And I think that we all need that hope to keep going. That's at least what I am thinking.
Okay. Ty, I mean, that's if things are kind of fluid and ambiguous, kind of like that, then at the end of the day, what's our jury going to think of those players? I mean, are people really trying to take ownership of moves or take ownership of kind of the leadership here so that they can argue in front of the jury?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think that it's very much working with people that you can trust and continuing to move that forward. Obviously, in the back of people's minds, there's like, great moves or moves that people have made or resume building things. That's obviously something we're all trying to do to get to the jury and be able to pitch our case. But I don't think that anyone has been in control the whole time and been dominant in all the conversations or doing things just to build a resume. I think it's been, like Drew said, pretty fluid and conversations going around and things changing. And, so it's been a lot of fun and pretty scary at the same time.
Yeah, pretty scary at the same time. That's a good way to put it. Anyone have any final things to say before we get to the vote? No? All right, let's get to it. We'll start on this side. We'll start with you, Ty.
All right, we're just going to be heading out to our usual spot over here in the dark, kind of. All right. Let's at least try to get it on me so you're not just looking at a bunch of darkness. Okay, hi. Hello, everyone. Let me just get this bright so you can actually kind of see my face. Oh my God. I'm like blinding myself in the process. Oh no. Are we near the bridge? Oh, we are in the bridge. Okay, I was aiming correctly. All right, let's get up and over this safely so that I can deliver the tea to you. Okay. All right, marching with purpose up this hill, getting my notebook out, and I will need my notebook lit up probably, so I have a friend here to help me do that. Caitlin wants to know, have there been any voting booth idols this season? No. We told players there is nothing hidden in the voting booth. We don't want any sort of delay from players just trying to look everywhere there, so none in the voting booth this time around. Caitlin, one of our players from the last season that did find an idol in a voting booth. Okay, this feels near our shrub. Okay. So yeah, just this on here. Thank you. Okay, hello. My heart is racing. Probably equal parts from excitement about this and also that hill. Okay, so wow, I have so many colors and so much going on. All right, so okay, gonna gather myself. All right, so oh, okay, sorry. I will start as soon as I stop glitching. in my brain. Okay, so there was a lot of talk about at the end about groups of threes. Alicia was saying that there are different groups of threes, and that's more powerful than a group of one. Ale made the interesting comment that he's in one of those groups of three, but fun fact, he's in maybe 3 of those groups of 3. So perhaps that was his signal to many, many different players to all think like, oh, hey, it's me. It's in that group of 3. So let's go over those groups that Ale has. First of all, he has an OG blue group of, an OG Grindel group of Ale, Meg, and Cam. He also has the new Quaddy group of Ale, Meg, and Dylan, as well as the Gay Latino Alliance of Ale, Dylan, and Kevin R. So he does in fact have 3 different triangles, and that might have just been a really smart thing to reassure tons of, like roughly half the players left, that he is with them. So props to him for that. Let's skip on, oh, let's see, okay. All right, cool. So let's skip on over, we'll start with the check in with the Gay Latino Alliance members. So, of course, Ale, along with Kevin R. and Dylan. Kevin R. and Dylan kind of like floated a real like an F2 a while ago. They are now a real final 2. They are feeling really high on each other, and Kevin R. now starting to like drop some of the quote unquote dumb jock persona that he was trying to emit. Actually said that he voted Molly last round to free Dylan up to draw closer to him. So really smart of him to kind of give Dylan less options and make him a larger and more important option. Speaking of options, Dylan's feeling like he has a lot of them and is very happy to have them. Feels like as a result of this that he's able to drive a vote tonight. And so he is driving a vote along with Ale for Alicia. Everyone recognizing her threat level, both in challenges and kind of trying to make a big splash all over anytime she does something. Although she did not make a big splash this tribal by playing her surveillance advantage. She would have had to do that before Cam said that it was time to go to the votes. So she could have elected to go to the voting booth and look over someone's shoulder and see what vote they were voting, but I guess elected not to. Speaking of Alicia, she thinks that it's her. She views the game as being run by the top trio of Meg, Ale, and Cam. And she views Dylan and Drew as like a tight duo that's in the middle. So she's hoping to swing the quote unquote bottom of the group as she sees it, of her, Ty, and Kevin R. Sorry, Bug, to pull in Dylan and Drew and go ahead and vote for Meg. Yes, Meg. Kevin R. also wanting to potentially vote for Meg. Can't remember why now. I just put a bunch of X's, so you're gonna have to take my word on that. So yes, and speaking of Meg, she really thought she was going home last time. She felt super vulnerable and voiced that at the last tribal, and just feels like Dylan saved her last tribal by voting Louie out instead of her. So now she feels super beholden and grateful to Dylan, even more so than she did before, because they're in that trio with Ale. She seems to think that the vote is Alicia and not her, but like doesn't quite know for sure. And she feels like everyone is controlling the game except her and Cam. So she's kind of adopting this Sandra Diaz Twine, as long as it ain't me strategy. She's like, listen, you just tell me what to do, guys, and I'll do it. I just want to stick around. Which is interesting because early on in the game, she was viewed as having a lot of power and seemed to lose it right around merge-ish time. And I kind of find this amusing because while she's busy feeling like she and Cam have absolutely no agency at this current moment in the game, Ty, on the other hand, thinks that Cam and Meg are running the game. So interesting how different perceptions can be completely opposite and both feel like it's totally true. Speaking of Ty, he also thinks that Meg, Ale, and Cam are a tight three, so he's gone ahead and clocked that. Again, we talked about how Ty is a pretty perceptive player in this game and often has an incredible read. Just doesn't always either have enough people to get something accomplished or just biding his time. And I think he's currently biding his time. Feels like Meg should go, but not sure if this is the move or not at this present time. So he's possibly towards Meg, maybe possibly voting towards Alicia because, of course, he also recognizes her threat level. And let's see. Oh, so back to Meg's theory that she was saved by Dylan. This appears to be true, and Drew thinks so as well, because Drew is now mad at Dylan because Dylan changed the last vote to Louis at the last second instead of Meg. And Drew spent the entire round apparently apologizing to Cam and Meg, saying, like, hey, it's going to be one of you I have to vote for. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But then neither of them was the target, and she just spent the entire round basically saying, it's going to be one of you. So she's not pleased that that happened. Maybe a little premature jury management that possibly shouldn't have happened at that stage. Of note, Drew also thinks that if Alicia is going, that she's the one driving this vote. But I think Ale and Dylan might be putting in a little more of the work and having a little more of the connections and social currency needed to pull this off if it does end up being Alicia. Wow, that was a lot. Okay, a little bit more. There's also like this overarching theme of the like new Quadi tribe and new Grindel tribe pairing up together and eliminating the green people. And of those, Ty is the only one that is left. Ty has, of course, received votes here and there, but if they do want to go ahead and finish off green, Ty would be their target. And Alicia would be the other person left out of either New Quadi or New Grindel. I think various members of those tribes are saying, hey, let's continue coming together and let's be the final 6 people. Let's get Ty out of here. Let's get Alicia out of here. I know the concern continues to be that Alicia might have something. And so I think that's kind of been a deterrent in past votes. But now I think that everyone is kind of like, well, maybe this is the time. We've like avoided it for so long. So, all right, I think that's it. I think that's all I got for you. And I'm being told that we can now head back to the tribal council area. And I'm going to turn this camera around so I can maybe walk and not fall and die and cut the stream out because that would be sad for all of us. All right, let's get back to tribal. And here we go. And as a reminder, everyone, you're going to want to tune in for this entire stream, and we will be going live again like 5 minutes after this stream gets cut. So you're going to want to settle in, grab a snack, grab a beverage. You're going to want to join us for the outcome of this tribal as well as the nighttime challenge because it is so sick and everyone is so excited for it. You're not going to want to miss it. That is for sure. Whew. Okay. All right, we're heading back into tribal council now. I'll do this. And it looks like Cam is also heading back as well. So excellent timing, y'all. Taylor says, oh, I'm settled in. I'm so glad to hear it.
If anybody has a hidden immunity idol and would like to use one, now would be the time to do so. Okay, I'll get to the vote. First vote, Alicia. Second vote, Meg. Third vote, Alicia. Fourth vote, Alicia. Fifth vote, Alicia. Next vote. Meg. 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 That is 4 votes Meg, 4 votes Alicia. 1 vote remaining. Next person voted out of Can You Survive the Tides of War, and the 6th member of our jury. Meg. That's 5, that's enough. Meg, the tribe has spoken. Thank you.
Good job, Meg.
All right, we're going to be heading on out of the tribal council area. Meg, you're going to come on with me over here on the live stream. I know it's super dark. If we could have someone light Meg's way, please. Thank you. All right, Meg, we are still live. In a few moments, it's just going to be your time to share your thoughts, but we'll get you a little bit farther away, let you settle in and gather yourself for a moment if needed, and then we will chat with you. All right, let's go over there. All right. I know you can't see her right now, but Meg is here, I swear. All right, here's good. Oh, thank you. All right, can we illuminate Meg without blinding her, please? Thank you.
I mean, good on her. I mean, like from the very beginning, there was this rumor that actually she started, that I was that I was like running things and part of all these different alliances. And not to say I wasn't like working with people or whatever, but that was not correct. And I mean, I guess it like somehow stuck. And I'm surprised that, I mean, who knows? Because I don't know who. I mean, I think if I think about it for like a heartbeat, I can probably figure out who believed it ultimately, but it doesn't. I don't know. I'm still confused. I guess I don't know. But I mean, kudos like that. Yeah, like she's fighting really hard, and that's really impressive. I don't know.
You're fine. I know we bombard you right after because we're just all dying to hear you have to say. I know it's a lot in a split second moment,
Yeah.
but I'd love for you to maybe take this time to reflect on your game for a second. You have so much to be proud of, making it all the way to the end of day 4. I'd love to know maybe something you're most particularly proud of about your time out here.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot, and so I'm sort of looking forward to like really kind of like, yeah, sort of decompressing and figuring out. But like, I definitely feel like I've played the best game that I've ever played, even though it didn't get me, you know, uh, uh, this isn't like I've done better in terms of rankings or whatever, but like this is, I feel really, really proud of. I learned a lot of lessons and I put them into practice this time around. And I really feel like the reason that I am here now instead of like, you know, yesterday or whatever is because I've learned a lot and I'm doing better. And so I'm proud of myself.
I love that. Did you learn anything maybe in particular about yourself and your time out here that
Actually, yes.
Ooh,
I
still.
have this. Like, there's always this sort of idea that, like, or that you can play a loyal game or you play a strategic game, and that, you know, if you're being, you know, too loyal, then you're not, like, taking advantage, you're not playing an individual game. And I had a bit of a revelation. I mean, I'm I was voted off. So maybe it didn't really work in the long run. But that actually like playing my kind of loyal game is strategic because I think it got me to this point, which I think is something to be proud of.
Absolutely. All right, Meg, before we let you head off to Ponderosa, you are obviously playing for a very worthy cause. So this is your chance to shout them out and let the viewers know who you were playing for.
I was playing for the Ali Forney Center, which is in New York City, and it provides resources to LGBTQ plus homeless youth, and it's an amazing organization. And I'm really, really excited that because I guess I made it to this point, that they get a nice little chunk of money. So that's awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Meg. We appreciate you and congratulations on a game very well played. I'm going to hand you off to your handler now so you can head on over to Ponderosa.
Great, thank you.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to flip this back over to me so you aren't looking at darkness for like a second. Hi. So before we go, as I teased before, we are going to be heading right over to the challenge area where we're going to get a really sick night challenge going, and I'm super excited. I'm thinking we should be back in like 5 minutes, so keep it locked here. Go run and grab anything you need to grab, and then settle on in for a very cool challenge. We will see you so very soon.